This is the Mediate Now with Winter Wheeler. Your clear choice for expert mediation and negotiation advice. But it's so much more than that. Take our advice, you will improve your entire life. Are you ready? Let's get to it.
Christine Cariño is the founder of Conscious Thrive LLC, established with the belief that when we are thriving consciously, we make better choices. And when we make better choices, it ripples to our family, community, and to our society. As a coach, she helps BIPOC and LGBTQ plus executives and leaders reconnect with their authentic selves, live and lead consciously, and create impact on their own terms. As a consultant, she helps bring cultural transformation into corporate businesses by bringing back the human at the center of it, tapping into the heart so they can embody inclusion, belonging, and equity. She has also designed and facilitated transformation workshops internationally and in partnership with LGBTQ plus organizations in Athens, Greece, and Manila, Philippines. So thank you so much for being here, Christine. I am really excited about this, I have to tell you. I've been excited about this since the day that we met. And I know I didn't even ask you to be on the show that day, but I was thinking, I think I'm going to ask her. Like, I hope she says yes. So it's really exciting for me to have you today. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Excited to be here, and thank you for having me.
Yay. So, and this is hilarious because Christine and I have been talking for about 10 minutes in our our pre-recording kind of dialogue. And so we've been having a good time together already. Christine, I am so enamored with the work that you do, and it is so important. It is so important. I'm Black, so I fall in BIPOC, right? But I'm not LGBTQ plus, but I do consider myself to be an ally. I am always wanting to learn more, striving to support, help, anything that I can do. And so having this show for me means that that's just another way that I can, in my tiny little corner of the universe, help the people that I love who also fall into these categories. And also for people who don't fall into those categories, I think loving them also means that we teach them and we help them and we move them along and we bring them into this circle. Because, if you added up everybody who is BIPOC and LGBTQ plus, we clearly outnumber everybody, everybody who isn't, right? Okay. So I would love for you, in your own words, to tell the audience more about your company, because I don't want to destroy it, and I love it so much. I want you to say it yourself.
Right. Well, I think it's better to start as to why I created it.
Perfect. Okay.
So let's start there, and the history is coming from also my own transformation journey. When, I have reached this peak being in corporate and found myself successful, quote unquote.
Right.
Great money, accolades, and the people, right, that I'm contributing to as a recruiter for nonprofits and the executives that I help find jobs and all that. This was great, but I found myself asking, is this all there is in life?
Okay.
And I didn't want that to just be it.
Yeah.
And, even with all this, with all these things that I had, I still found myself unfulfilled and unhappy. And then I realized that the reason so is because my success was actually not defined by me. It was defined by other people, whether that be family, society,
yes,
etc., right, etc. So
yeah.
I did the work on my own, and I said, this is so important for the BIPOC and LGBTQ plus community to also have access to, because we are the communities that have assumed identities that are not ours to begin with, right? And
Yeah.
we need to heal from that. We need to really do the work within us to reconnect to who we are before the world told us who we should be, so we can show up as our best selves. And our best self doesn't look like having all the Jaguars or your own plane. You know, it's not only that, but it's really grounded in love and compassion and kindness, grounded in extraordinary, you know? So,
yes. Listen, I'm always like floored like every time you say something. that hit me. It really did. It hit me hard. Yes, you know, we have other people telling us what success is, and you know you've made it because somebody else tells you that you did.
Yes.
You don't create those parameters for yourself. It's always an external process when you're in corporate America. And listen, that's deep. Are we done now?
That's it. That's the recording. That's it.
We have helped everyone with just that. Oh my God.
But that's what the process is, really reclaiming your power and being grounded with your authentic self, so you can really show up as you, as Winter, defined by you, in your relationships, in your work, in your business, wherever that is, right? And
yeah,
it's not modeled by anyone else but you.
Oh my God. I really could have used that like several years ago. I wish we had met a long time ago. But it's true, you know, the idea of the authentic self and being your authentic self. I never felt like I could be my authentic self at work. I could never show up as Winter. And I tell you, Winter is not anything like out of the ordinary or out of the box, really. But I'm Black, I'm female, and it's just neither of those things are super welcome or celebrated, right? And so when my success is measured against that of people who look nothing like me, who've never lived my experience, could never, and are not necessarily trying to understand my experience. It's such a hard thing to try to be yourself. And not only are you trying to hide who you are, you're trying to emulate something that you don't know or understand and can't be. I can't be anything but who I am. So the rest of it is just fake. It's very, very fake. And I don't know how you really fake that long term and also be healthy within your own body, your own mind, and love yourself. Right. You know, because I feel like for me, I worked as an attorney, as a litigator full-time for about 14 years. And there were some days when I was like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I really have no idea. Is that something that you find when you are working with professionals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because what we have trained our brain is to suppress who we are. So the deeper we suppress and repress it, the deeper we are now no longer familiar with how it feels and how it looks.
Oh, yes.
Because we don't feel it, we don't be it, right? So that's the layers that you need to peel, that we all need to peel. And hey, I went through that journey. I'm still in that journey now. You know, I would be present with a lot of things that I didn't know that was there. It's like, oh, that's not mine. But having the tools to be able to really identify these things and release it when you get present. That's really what it is. It's a process, and we have to give ourselves grace. But the first thing to do is consciously choose it for you. Giving yourself permission to now open that up for you, to be in that journey, to be in that process, to say, I love you. And I want to honor you, right? That's really the first step.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I could listen to you talk for like days on end. So, Christine, how did you personally, if you don't mind sharing, how did you personally come to that realization? Because it's a big realization. You're like blowing my mind. And we've only been talking for a short time. So yeah, how did you come to that on your own?
Oh, it wasn't on my own. I went through a leadership training, which I recommend people to really tap into because it gives you some of the tools, right? It's the old school. These trainings that come from the old school, the ESS or landmark, synergy, momentum. They came from I forgot. It was like in the 70s. It's the school of thought.
I know neither one of us was there.
Right. And there were a lot of controversy around the work, and it's been like recreated, and so I did that work. There was a lot of healing that have happened, but I was also going through a very challenging time of my life that the tools that they allowed me to do, I took and recreated that for myself. And I just leaned in with the whole thing, like from the healing and the forgiveness, right? And I expanded it on my own. And that's how, and again, it's the presence around the process. It's like, this is what I had to do to get me there. They weren't telling me anything, right? I was just experiencing things, and I had the tools to do it and all. But I really was able to heal my relationship with my father, my relationship with my parents, my mom, that the inner child in me too.
Wow.
And I was able to reclaim a lot of the deferred dreams that I had on my own, and even memories. So I really took it, because it was just like a 5-day journey. And I said, I'm going to take it with me, and really going through that whole journey. So it was like a whole year and a half of reclaiming everything and redefining everything for me. And it's funny, this is for full circle for you. When I did that work, one thing that I actually got clear with is the impact that I want to make in the world. And that looked like being a lawyer. Yes. That looked like being a lawyer. And so I was studying for the LSATs to get into law school and do that. But it was not until I got present with how short life is, how much more I have. It's unknown. It was, I think I've shared this publicly about Kobe's death. It was Kobe's death that actually got me to say, I'm transferring all these why that I have in wanting to be a lawyer to my business because I don't want to wait 5 years before I make that impact. If I only have 10 years to live, right? I don't have that time.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I mean, Kobe Bryant's death has had huge impacts on so many people, but what I'm hearing from you is unlike what I've heard from other people. I mean, you were impacted and ran with it. Like you really changed your life around it. And congratulations on the whole I'm not a lawyer thing. Love lawyers, I do. Clearly, I still am one, but it's not the answer to anybody's problems.
Right.
I tell you that.
And that's what people actually get stuck with is the idea of the what, but not really the why, because you can recreate the what. I feel like all the ways in which I've imagined to be a lawyer is now being fulfilled with the work that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've envisioned it. I've envisioned what it looks like, the people that I'm going to impact, the reason why I'm doing it, and the change that I want to make through being a lawyer. And I'm doing it today. So I don't have the title, but I feel like I'm a lawyer. I didn't have student debts or go to school through it, but I feel like the reason, right, the mission is transferred and recreated and translated in a different way. And I feel like it's a deeper impact, actually.
That's amazing. Yeah. So, when we're talking about reclaiming memories and reclaiming dreams, how did you? So I know you've said that of how you did your own work from your general leadership, old school leadership information, but like you really caught my ear when you started talking about healing relationships with your parents and your inner child. And anyone who knows me well knows I don't have relationships with my parents. So I'm very interested in that. And how did you do that? That's really the simplest question that I can ask you.
It's definitely a process, and I wouldn't say that it was easy. There were a lot of tears, there were a lot of pain, there were a lot of conversations. And the only way that I could describe it as is I had to be a parent to myself before I can even show up in that relationship or in that conversation with my parents.
Okay. Wow.
That I've filled the need within me. And then I'm no longer asking for them for that.
Mind blown.
And my parents are perfect. I have come to be at peace in that statement. My parents are perfect as they are. There's nothing about them that I want to change or take away. I would add, I would request, I would make those requests, but there's nothing about them that I need.
Wow.
Because I'm feeling and still fulfilling that parenthood in me.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
They're perfect in their imperfections. They did the best. Yeah, they did the best that they can do to support us or to support me, to love me the best way they can in those moments. And even like coming out, it's no longer a conversation. It doesn't trigger me anymore because I've healed it. And again, I've loved myself through it. So.
Wow. Oh my God.
It's a process.
I'm literally writing that down right now because that's amazing. When you talk about the coming out process, how, do you help your clients with that? Are they typically already out? What does that look like? Because for me, my only experience with that is people coming out to me, right? And me trying to be supportive. And I have no frame of reference for what that really feels like to someone. And especially for someone who has done the work like you do, you are so in tune with your emotions. It's amazing. What can you explain a little bit more about how you worked? I guess let's back up a little bit. Explain a little bit more about exactly how that feels, if that's even possible. I don't know. I'm sorry if I shouldn't have asked that question. But if you can explain that, and then how you reconcile negative reactions to your positive sense of self.
Right. I my clients would come to me not having the idea that that's actually something that they want to do, like the coming out. Like, I want to come out. No, they don't come to me with that. They would just be like, oh, I want to be this, I want to do this part. And because the work that I do really looks into the core relationships of who we are, so our relationship with ourselves, with others, and with the world, or with the universe, right? So we work through synergizing that, the three core relationships, and making that healthy, and doing the work to align it with you, so you just show up as. So the goal is not to come out, but to invite people in.
Oh my. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Wow.
And coming out isn't only about gender or gender identity. It's a lot of these things too, of who we are, right? You said being a Black woman is so hard to represent in the world because it's not fully accepted. It feels like you had to come out. Right? That might be like a similar thing, but it doesn't have to be coming out. It's inviting them in because it's your space and it's sacred to you.
Wow. Okay.
And you own that.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like I don't even know what to say. That is amazing. You're not coming out, you're inviting people in to you, to your authentic self.
It gives you the power.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Christine. That is amazing. It's so it's like, I've already had the power. I need to recognize it, own it, and just be.
Yes.
And then the people who are around me can either come on in, or they can see themselves out.
Yes, exactly. It's
Do you know
alignment.
how that is crazy, Christine? That is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it's the work.
Wow. I'm completely blown away. I love the way that you put that, because it's definitely, and I'm realizing now as we're having this conversation that I'm absolutely guilty of this too. You put the onus on the other person to explain who they are, what, in quotes, what they are. And then we work to accept someone. And that is just, oh my God, wow, that is so wrong. That is so wrong. We all need to have the space, the ability to just be. You are who you are. And if other people don't accept it, then truly that is their loss. Truly.
Yeah. If
oh
they
my
can
God.
accept you as you, they don't deserve you. Like,
amazing. I mean, it's like when you say it, it sounds so simple, but you don't, And I'm talking about myself right now. And I'm saying you. I don't know why I'm saying you. I was not raised that way. I was not raised with that. I have never, ever heard anyone put it that way. And it is liberating. It is.
Yes.
I've got literal goosebumps right now. Just be yourself, show up as yourself, and anyone who doesn't like it can go.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Liberation is a personal responsibility.
I'm going to write that down.
Right? We've been talking about freedom for a very long time, especially now that there's a push for it. But we haven't really fully embraced that responsibility is personal. It comes within personal liberation first before we seek it out, right?
Absolutely. Because if you don't accept yourself, how can you ask someone to accept you? Yeah.
Like, that's RuPaul. If you don't love yourself, how the hell can you love
someone else? I love that RuPaul quote, but he's never hit me like it did just now. And I love that you quoted RuPaul. That is so funny. Wow. Like I'm really blown away by that. And you are doing some amazing, amazing work. Amazing work. I am so happy to be like just in your presence right now. This is unreal to me. The ability to love yourself, the directive to love yourself and accept yourself should not be revolutionary. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be. But the world teaches us, so many of us, that we're not welcome, we're not worthy, we're not right. There's something wrong with us. There's something wrong with how we behave, what we do, how we think. Right. And it's not fair. And, you know, I do a lot of talking about, you know, cultural immersion and things like that. And in that process, I talk about perspective changing and how you can immerse yourself in a culture. And at that point, hopefully you start to understand the why, like on a level where you can't even articulate it because it's ingrained in you at that point. And this kind of reminds me of that, but a bit on the reverse. And like trying to understand that for yourself. And that is really amazing. It's really special.
100%.
That's really
100%.
special. Wow.
That's really it. It's the way in which we actually see people and understand someone else is going to always come from how we understand ourselves. Emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
It's intersection between the self and the others, whatever that is. I was actually just talking to a client about that earlier. But it's the self, the intersection of the self and the others. And others doesn't only mean people, but also money, your career, your business, right? There's also an intersection because it's a relationship.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my God.
But you have to understand the layers and the process and the journey that you've gone through, the pain and discomfort, everything else, and be present with that before you can even transfer that to someone else. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God. I feel like this has been like the best therapy session I've ever had in my life. I've learned so much already.
I'm so glad.
This is amazing. But seriously, I have thought about these concepts, but never from this angle. And I love how you're doing this. And you I know you are helping so many people. You are making breakthroughs. You are changing lives, which is what my show is about. It's about bringing people together, helping them have better lives. My God, Christine. Oh, look at me. I picked the best guest ever. pat myself on the back for that. But
another thing about this is that I want to highlight is like these tools and concepts and framework have been here for a very long time, but it's just not been thought to actually include us. And that's what I'm doing. And again, I'm not inventing something new. I'm just using it so it can empower us and elevate our lives because we've been neglected. It's so important.
Like, if you could see my arms right now, like goosebumps like crazy. I mean, I relate so much to what you're saying. I didn't want to get emotional about it. Like, this is just a podcast, but
you can.
It's when you're left out of the conversation so often, it's just, you get used to it.
Yes.
You get used to being left out, and you forget so easily who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes more difficult every single day to go home and be the person that you are because we spend more time at work than at home.
Sure.
So thankfully, I don't work in that type of environment anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much easier for me to try to really embrace who I am and just be that person. But my God, I think about the 14 years I spent in law firms trying to attract clients because just being myself did not attract clients.
Right.
Or thinking back to the times where I felt really, really proud because the managing partner invited me on a business development trip. And then when I got there, it turned out to be a group of other white male managing partners and all of their beautiful Black female associates. And that hurt so deeply. But you're never in a position where you can say that out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't go to him and say, this was wrong. What you did was wrong. I'm worthy of this.
Right.
As a person. What you've done to me is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Like, why do you have me crying? I have makeup on today, Christine. This is supposed to be an uplifting show.
I hope it's uplifting you in some way or form.
It really is. I feel so seen and so validated by everything that you've said. And this is definitely not how I thought this was going to go. My gosh. Wow. I want to see you on like every channel, talking to everybody about this because it is liberating. Like I don't even know how long we've been talking right now. Not that long. But I feel like you've changed my life. I do.
Wow.
I feel like you've changed how I see what I've been through and how I can continue to process it. And I really feel empowered. And I know that this episode is going to do the same for other people. And I am going to continue to deliver this message in person all the time. I'm going to start to annoy people. This is just, it's mind-blowing. It really is. It's mind-blowing for me because as someone who has tried to study this and tried to help people with these things and I am very familiar with these concepts, I have never looked at them from this angle. And I know you've said that you're not doing anything that's different, or you're not using concepts that are new, you're just including us. I don't think that is right. I don't think that that's fair. You are doing something new. It might include, tried and true leadership issues or whatever in the world we might call that. But I think it is new when you have this inclusive attitude and your spirit is genuine. You are one of us. You are just this beautiful soul. Like I'm looking at you right now, and everybody who hears this is not going to be looking at you, but you radiate authenticity and comfort with yourself. It's unbelievable. And I want to get where you are. I want to be that relaxed. I want to be that in touch with who I am. And this conversation, I think, is definitely going to help me get there.
I'm so happy to hear, because I really honestly want this for all of us, for our communities. It's such an important work to do internally, so we can really rally everyone and demand what it is right and what we deserve, because we're worthy of it. So
yes, and we are worthy by nature of existing.
Period. That's a period.
Yes. Declarative statement.
Exactly.
It reminds me of a quote that you may not think of it as a quote. I think of it as a quote, but something that you said when we met the first time. And it was something to the nature of, you already have everything that you need. It's already there.
Right. Yeah. I think it's about the purpose. The purpose is not about looking. It's not looking for purpose. Oh, I forgot. And this someone told me about this. It's, you have to write down these things that you say, because
that's why I have my pen.
Like, the problem is not looking for, not knowing our purpose. It's accepting the magnificence of our purpose. Something along those lines, right?
Pen. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Which kind of reminds me of another quote that I've heard, which is, I'm going to butcher it. I know I am. So please don't send me letters or emails or whatever about it. But you're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of how powerful you are or how successful you can be, or something to that extent. But I think that those two quotes, it was definitely not a quote on my end. I totally screwed that up, but I think you get the gist.
Right.
You know how much potential and how that, you know how much potential that you have, you know how much you are capable of, and being in an environment that doesn't necessarily accept you 100%, it stifles all of that.
Exactly.
All of it, all the time. And you have to work within yourself to start to really tap into how amazing you are.
Right.
Tell yourself that, believe it. And then once you've done that, don't be afraid of it. Run full speed ahead.
Winter, I need you to just cut that piece and repurpose that on Instagram for you.
Listen, I will.
And everywhere. That's amazing. the insight. That's really it.
You did that for me.
I think I just opened the door and you gave yourself permission to look and to enter. So,
girl, if you make me cry, I swear to God. That was amazing. You know, there are so many people who are going to be going to work, you know, the morning that this drops, right? We drop on Monday mornings. There are going to be so many people going to work feeling stifled, feeling less than, feeling uncomfortable, using that time in the car, if you're in the car, if you're lucky enough to be in the car, but using that time to kind of put aside who they really are and put on their game face.
Yeah.
And I hope that there's someone listening to this who gets to the office and parks and stops with the game face.
Mm-hmm.
Try it out. Be yourself. For me, like I could die happy knowing that this episode helped somebody do that. I really could, because I have been there. It is hard, and you know, I'll be sitting in my car. Past tense. Did I just say that like it was present tense? Past tense. I would be. I had been. You know, in my car listening to, I don't know, the Spice Girls, like just like the most generic thing that I could think of. Just trying to get into the mindset of be relaxed, be chill, don't be urban, don't be too black today. Try not to upset anybody because you talk too much or too loudly or whatever.
I want you to get present with how that feels right now. You saying it and how that hurts.
It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts a lot. And I did it for so long that I didn't even realize anymore that it hurt. And now looking back.
You've gotten used to the pain, right?
Yes, I got used to the pain. Which is not something anyone should do. Yes. And what, I mean, there are what, millions and millions of us out there doing that every day.
Right. And I think I just posted something, the most profound way to love yourself is to give yourself permission to heal. Wow. And your purpose will get more clear when you're no longer hurting.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
I seriously want to just hug you, Winter.
Oh, hugs. It's so true.
To Alana.
We are meeting up, I swear. Like as soon as I have a vaccine, I am coming to see you and give you the biggest hugging kiss ever. But you know, it just, when I went out on my own, I left the law firm and I went on this journey to be the mediator I always wanted to be. I started to feel differently. I wasn't going to an office every day. I was at home. I was with myself and I was going online. And anyone who has a strong presence online, I think, will tell you authenticity is what gets you attention. It's what draws people to you. If you are fake, people can like smell it through the screen. Nobody wants that. And so I just decided I'm just going to be me.
Yes.
I'm going to get up every morning. I'm going to post about what I want to post about. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And the people who are meant for me are meant for me. and the other people aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is not for me. I'm only one person, right?
Right.
And I have felt since, it's been a year now, almost exactly. I have felt so much more at ease, so much more at peace. I'm like,
Good.
I'm thinking now about all of the positive things that have happened to me since I walked away from trying to be someone I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And I stepped into who I am now, like who I really am, not who I am now, who I am.
Always been.
Have always been. I am who I have always been. And the world has changed for me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is going better. My personal relationships, my work relationships, like business is great. I couldn't have said those things before. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I was so caught up in pretending I was someone else for all the people around me.
Woo. Right. Let me just say that's what reclaiming looks like.
I've reclaimed.
You reclaimed. It's
wow.
the process. The process that you have gone through by saying, I'm giving myself permission to show up as me. You just reclaimed all that pain to now purpose and are using that to impact the world and the people that have been brought to your life that you're supposed to serve, to impact, and to make a difference in.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, I could continue about like how life has gotten better and I've been able to like now focus on myself and do things for myself, which I never did before.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like now this is just turning into like therapy for me, but and that's not what anybody's trying to hear. Listen, I have kept you for a solid hour and I like to get everybody out within an hour. I am so grateful that you came today to talk to me.
I am so grateful to be here with you. And it has been such a pleasure and honor to be invited in your space. Thank you for the opportunity to see you. And I treasure that.
Fan the tears. No misting allowed when there's makeup on. Yeah, I'm really at a loss for words, which is like, it never happens to me. Never, ever, ever, Christine. But just again, thank you so much. I know that you are out there changing the world and I appreciate you. And I am going to send everyone that I know who needs this your way. You are incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.